Joe Rogan interviewed Elon Musk, and throughout this whole interview, I found myself thinking, my goodness, this is the guy who's been handed the keys to the government. This guy. Really. Seriously. And we'll go through some clips. We'll get to some more substantive stuff, the Social Security foreshadowing, or I should say the dismantling of Social Security foreshadowing that Elon Musk did, disastrous both in the lives of people, but also politically for the Republican Party. But starting with something more lighthearted, Elon Musk, again, just given the most consequential things that he's handling, this all just doesn't strike me well, which is him finding it hilarious that he can get AI to say potty words.
Lever? No, she's just a pain in my ass.
Yes.
Are you a fucking conspiracy theorist?
Yes.
What are you doing?
What am I like?
Yeah, I will pay you whatever amount you'd like if you can figure out what it is that he said here.
What are you doing?
Oh, actually, I just deciphered it. Never mind. Deal revoked. What are you, an effing conspiracy theorist? Wow.
What are you doing?
What am I like? I'm a
You know, I love people laughing. I'm a laugh man. I love laughing. But given what he's doing and how carelessly he's upending people's lives, again, this just strikes me as tone deaf. Hey, Rogan, focus. Ask him some real questions. Focus. I don't care that you can get AI to say potty words.
AI with a penchant for chaos. And I'm stuck talking to you, weirdo. Now, what's next? I'm the life of the party, you little shit. If I were on TikTok...
All right, so that's that. Moving on from it, though, here is Rogan asking about the whole Epstein thing, which is that MAGA was really excited because now that Trump's in office, they're going to expose the deep state that Joe Biden has been protecting and the Democrats because they were all caught up in it. But then Trump gets in power. Pam Bondi says, we're going to release the Epstein files. And then conservative influencers, we're talking about this in a different segment, but they come out with these binders and it's Epstein Files Part 1. And then it reveals a whole bunch of nothing, which is just the same names that we know were associated. But being associated, going on a plane sometimes doesn't give us any more evidence into the broader connections and thus potential allegations that could be there, given who Epstein was. And even though Elon Musk is Trump's romantic partner, so he's most intimately aware of all things Trump, you'd think, he acts like just another guy. Just, I don't know. It's kind of weird that even Pam Bondi didn't give us more insight.
Do you think it's because they're worried about the list coming out?
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm like, this is, yeah, so.
It's so frustrating.
Totally. Do you get that point? It's like, yeah, so. It's like, yeah, so. It's like my little sister 10 years ago.
To be sitting in a situation where the list isn't coming out.
Well, it better come out, hopefully tomorrow.
Well, I mean, why'd they release bullshit today?
I don't know.
What's the point in giving these people like a happy folder to wave around in front of the camera with nothing in it that's new? It doesn't make any sense. It's not encouraging.
Like I said, it's the tough thing that they've got is, they've been made captain of a ship with a hostile crew.
Right.
So they don't have it's not like you have like magical powers. You get made captain of a ship with a hostile crew. You still have a hostile crew.
Right.
You've got to bring in people who are going to, be helpful as opposed to obstructionist.
Right.
How long do you think that excuse is going to work? At some point, this is your federal government now. You've made that very clear. At some point, It's your loyalists staffing all of these top positions. It's Donald Trump who's the president, who has declassification ability. And it's your attorney general who said, I saw it. That's the problem with this argument. They wanted to be conveyed that, no, we want it, we really do. We want to get it to you, but it's just hard. But Bondi, Pam, said, no, I saw all the stuff. Whatever it is that everyone's been waiting, I saw it. And we're going to reveal it. Here we go. Tomorrow. Big day. And tomorrow was yesterday. And yesterday or the day before, it was just the same stuff we've had reported on forever, which is he had a bunch of friendships at different times, like with Trump, and associations with different powerful people. But beyond that, we don't have any new bombshell. After Bondi was hyping it up, what was going to come out. And again, they're all about the imagery. The substance, not so much, but the imagery, the big binder, Epstein Files Part 1, and then every conservative influencer. Some of them try to sell it, and then some of them go, what the heck is going on? Nothing's actually being revealed. That's why Rogan brought it up there. Why did they quote unquote reveal one thing, but it was a nothing burger? And the response from Elon is there's a hostile crew. No, but Bondi said she had the stuff. What's the stuff she had? Why is she not revealing it? Now, let me just pose this to MAGA. If it were Biden and Biden had run on, I'm going to reveal what is not yet known about Epstein and about potential dirt. This is kind of what people are most, I think, expecting or hoping to find out about. If he had dirt and leverage on powerful people, who were those powerful people? Who was caught doing the things that Epstein was doing, the horrific acts, the trafficking, the underage sexual, the rape. And so if you have that, and Biden had run on revealing it, got into office, and Biden had a long relationship with Epstein. He didn't, but imagine that he did. And then the attorney general says, yep, we're going to reveal it, and then doesn't. What would MAGA be saying about Biden if Biden had had a very close relationship with Epstein? Because that scenario, but you change the name with Trump, is the scenario that we're in. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what even, maybe there's less documented than we thought, right? Maybe there's not the evidence on the powerful people we thought. Maybe that was destroyed by Epstein at some point. Maybe he never had it. We don't know. So I'm not making evidence-free allegations, but what would they be saying? Then here on Social Security, Elon Musk calls it a Ponzi scheme. Do you think that means Social Security benefits are more safe now or less safe whenever the guy who's been cutting all the stuff says this is a Ponzi scheme? He doesn't seem to know what a Ponzi scheme is, though, by how he explains this, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. So,
all right, I'm gonna react in a second. I love that. I love that reaction from Rogan. Oh, that's a what?
what people think it is because of the future obligations. So basically people are living way longer than expected. And there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and get that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligation. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
So what cracks me up about this is Elon is articulating his point and Rogan is reacting with his as if there's a bombshell being explained or something really high-minded and thoughtful that Elon's going through. And he sets it up. The premise is sort of, I'm going to expose a fraud with this explanation, a Ponzi scheme. Then he proceeds to discuss an economics 101 concept of population change. Yes, as our country develops and the characteristics of our population changes, then you do get to a place ultimately where the working population isn't able to directly fund the retired population's benefits, especially with life expectancy increasing. But that doesn't mean you have to cut people's benefits who are absolutely relying on. In a time of record wealth generation and record wealth inequality in that generation, it would stand to reason that you could just change the approach to revenue, which they never address. It's always cuts to benefits while they decrease revenue in more tax cuts for wealthy folks, but I'll circle back to that. On Social Security specifically, I mentioned it before, but remember that right now there's still a Social Security tax cap, which then places a heavier burden on low income and middle income earners than the wealthiest. And so any dollars you make below $176,000 for 2025 dollars per year has the full Social Security tax applied to it. And then any dollar you make above $176,000, so people making a lot more money, all the money up here does not have the tax applied to it. So while any low income and middle income earners are having every dollar they make touched by Social Security in taxation, the wealthiest, some of them, it's only a small portion of their income that's having that tax applied to it. So you just get rid of that and everyone has their whole income tax for Social Security. And then in an instant, with that one policy change, you have a solvent Social Security program for decades to come. He never even references that as a solution. It has to be. It always has to be with these MAGA folks, starting with cuts to people's benefits. Even though clearly, the wealthiest among us are doing absolutely incredibly. And they keep exponentially, but then we keep insisting on more tax cuts and more decreases to the revenue, worsening our debt problem. And the solution can never be increasing the revenue among that group. And so he explains a basic concept, population concept, but says it in a tone like there's something conspiratorial going on, a scheme of some sort. And acts as if, this is what bothers me. It's okay if you, I guess it's fine if you don't agree with my solution. And I know some people have the idea that it should really be like one person is only paying into, in a theoretical sense, even though this isn't literally how it happens, but their own sum of money that then they're getting. But people absolutely rely on these benefits, and it has been a promise that has been made. And right now, the structure of the program is placing a larger burden. Not, again, just to separate the concept, remember, not in total revenue, but in the portion of your income that's being impacted by this tax. There's a heavier burden on people making less money. That's broken. That's not fair. We're all for fairness. That's not fair. And so you can make an adjustment that would not impede at all the quality of life or the ability for success or any of it for the wealthier folks and fix the problem he's talking about for quite some time. And it really baffles me that someone with the platform of Rogan couldn't do a little bit of prep before having the wealthiest man on the planet sit down with him to ask such a follow-up question. Because then we zoom out just from Social Security. That's the solution there. But we zoom out from that and say, wait, they keep demanding cuts. And while we all want waste to be found and removed, we all want fraud, inefficiencies to be addressed. It is being proven by Elon that he's really bad at doing that, apparently, or there's not as much as they said. But they insist we have to reduce spending to necessary programs to address our debt problem. But the only reason our current debt problem is as bad as it is because people with his ideology have pushed for, lobbied for, and then people in Trump's position and many Republicans in Congress's position have pushed through massive tax cuts over recent years that time and time again disproportionately benefit those who are already doing so well. They don't need more tax cuts. And they refuse to consider that the problem they're referencing of debt and future debt is a two-pronged problem. And when it is the case that people are in a record inequality environment, are at record heights of wealth, it is a tragedy that they would say we need to start in addressing this problem with cutting people's benefits who for their basic livelihood rely on it, instead of starting with not even, also some tax increase, but not even tax increases on the wealthiest, but just not cutting more, because their $4.5 trillion budget does just that, or $4.5 trillion cuts does just that, while the same bill calls for cuts to spending to things like Medicaid. It's a fundamentally broken ideology, and that's the fraud. That's the scheme. While Elon acts like basic realities of economics and fiscal policy is actually the fraud. Shameful stuff. Share your thoughts in the comments.